to the Sisterhood Spotlight, a video podcast show that celebrates and shines a light on women who have overcome obstacles, tragedies, challenges, and have triumphed and succeeded. You will hear the stories of amazing women who are entrepreneurs, community leaders, corporate professionals, and so many more. These women will inspire, motivate, and encourage you by sharing their tools, knowledge, tips, and support that you need to be empowered to succeed. I am the Mindset and Empowerment Coach and your host, Pat Gillum.
Welcome to the Sisterhood Spotlight, you guys. I'm so excited. Happy Saturday. If you are listening right now on Anchor FM or watching us on YouTube in the replay, thank you so much for joining us today. Hey, Ocean, how are you, beautiful? Listen, you guys get ready. I have an amazing guest joining me in the Sisterhood Spotlight today, and I'm so excited and so proud to be shining the light on the Medicare boss lady herself, Kaylavon Middleton. Kaylavon, welcome to the Sisterhood Spotlight.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Miss Pat. I am so excited to be a part of your podcast today. I'm telling you, you've had some heavy hitting women on your podcast, and I'm just blessed to be among them as well.
Well, thank you so much. You are also one of the heavy hitters, which is why I'm interviewing amazing women like you and shining the spotlight on what you do and who you are and how you show up in this world to serve other people. So I am so excited. Hey, Deborah Garrett. Hey, Tiffany Ann. Hey, Carmen Ray. How are you guys? Thank you so much for tuning in. Please go and hit and subscribe to our YouTube channel over at Sisterhood Extravaganza. The purpose of this platform is really to be able to get some great information out to women who need what all of these amazing guest speakers have. And I'm so excited today again to be shining the light on Kaylavon Middleton, who is the Medicare boss lady. You guys, Kaylavon, what is Medicare?
Well, Medicare is a federal funded program. And actually, it started back in 1965. That's when it was birthed. But it really began way before then under President Truman. And President President Johnson was the president who actually birthed it into the United States. And this program was to protect seniors from not having medical care. And so this was very important, especially back when President Truman was the president, where there was a lot of situations where people were poor, they were hungry, and they realized seniors did not have the adequate health care. So now at age 65, you are now entitled to Medicare. You also are entitled to Medicare if you have a disability that the Social Security is paying disability payments to you for 24 months or more. Then you automatically get Medicare. And if you are, of course, it's for U.S. citizens, but there's times where people come to our country or to our country, and they have been here consecutively and been legalized to be a citizen. They can also get Medicare if they've been here 5 years.
So is
healthcare for the seniors.
So this is healthcare for seniors age 65 and above. And is there a cost associated with this?
Yes. So with Medicare, there's like 4 parts to it. The original Medicare Part A is for the hospitalization. And normally people do not pay a premium for that if they've worked 10 consecutive years here in the United States. And because that payment that they are actually paying is through their payroll taxes, and it comes out of FICA. So when they become eligible for Medicare for the hospital side, there is no premium to pay. But on the medical side, which is the Medicare Part B, yes, there is a premium, and it's based on your income. So there's like 5 different scales to it. So it starts at, this year anyway, it starts at $144.60, and it goes all the way up to $491.60 per month. So if you one of those wealthy people, you're going to pay top dollar. And if you're like most people, then you're going to pay the standard, which is the $144.60.
Okay, perfect. I think that that's really good to know. And I know a lot of people who are listening and watching right now may not be 65 years old, but how does this apply to them?
Well, basically, if you have a family member, your mom, because a lot of times there's a sandwich generation. People are taking care of their parents. And so you might need to help them go through the process, make sure they're on the correct plan, and get them set up with a broker like myself.
Yes, I love that. I absolutely love that. So, because we know now that a lot of us are taking care of our, parents or, in-laws, and this is information, even if we're not 65 yet, we need to know so that we can get them, right, the medical care that they need. So
Right.
is there something around working beyond age 65?
Oh, yes. And one thing about Medicare, they don't do a very good job in explaining all the rules because there's tons of rules and it's not a one size fit all. So when you're working and you approach the age of 65 and you decide, you know what, I want to continue working, and people are working longer than ever before, then they have some options. If they work for an employer group that has less than 20 active employees, by law, they have to go ahead and apply for Medicare. If they do not do it timely, then there can be hefty penalties that is, lifetime. So, which nobody wants a lifetime penalty. So Medicare, will assess a lifetime penalty if you do not sign up in time. So those are strictly for those people who work for an employer that has under 20 employees. Now, if you have an employer that has more than 20 employees, you have more liberty to decide whether if you want it to take it or not, because the government looks at those large groups as credible coverage. And so their plan will always be primary over Medicare. But what I tell people, you don't want to rush into Medicare right away if you're working and you work for a large group, because you want to evaluate your current benefits through your employer against what Medicare is going to offer. Sometimes it's a good idea to make that move, sometimes it's not. So you need to evaluate that before you decide to go ahead and enroll. And some other plans that people have through their employer is called HSA plans, Health Savings Account. And with Medicare, they do not mix together well. So what the health and savings account is you have a large deductible with your employer, and they put money into an account for you, or you put money into an account for you to help towards that high deductible out-of-pocket cost. So what Medicare says to that, if you want to continue doing that, then you cannot enroll into Medicare at all. So you can't go into A, you can't go into B, and you can't even draw your Social Security income if you want to do that. So you're like not enrolled at all in Medicare, okay? But if you decide you don't want to continue with your HSA plan, then you can enroll into Medicare, but you can no longer contribute into your HSA, but you can take money out to pay for your healthcare expenses.
Wow, this is such great information. And it's great information because, we have a lot of people who are still working and, right now in corporate America. How does this apply to entrepreneurs or, people who are self-employed right now?
Yes,
Independent
it's very crucial.
Why is this important?
Yeah, it's very crucial. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to sign up for Medicare when it's your time. And you have a 7-month window to enroll into Medicare from your birth month. So you have 3 months prior to your birth month, and 3 months after your birth month. And if you do not do it within that time frame, then you are going to be assessed penalties. And then you can only begin the enrollment period again during the following calendar year of January 1st through March 31st. But your plan does not become effective until July 1st. So you could be potentially without coverage for a whole year if you do not do it in time if you're self-employed. So it's very crucial that you pay attention to those timelines, because once you get assessed that penalty, it's lifetime. And that penalty will increase more and more each year because the premiums will go up each year. Because right now, Pat, there's about 700,000 people that fell into that trap of having to pay that lifetime penalty. And which, you know, is horrible, because we're seniors. I'm a senior too. By the way, I'll be 65 next year signing up for Medicare.
Congratulations.
So I'm excited about that. But it's not right that the government assess us with that, you know, lifetime penalty. So there is legislation out there right now trying to fight that, to turn that around, because we're not making income at that point when we're retired. And so why should we have a lifetime penalty?
Right.
It's like sexism, excuse me, ageism, you know, so we don't want that.
I totally agree. Carmen Ray said this is very informative. Carlise Bradford said this is great information to know. I so agree with both of you that this is so valuable for us to have the information, and that is why we truly are in a position to empower people with the information that we have, and Kaylavon is doing just that. So how can people get financial assistance, right, for prescription drugs while on Medicare?
Well, prescription drugs is a huge, huge issue with Medicare, because when you're working, you pretty much know what your benefits are as far as for your medication. With Medicare, it's a whole different rule. They do not allow manufacturer discounts. You know how like you see sometimes on television, they'll name a brand name drug and they say, if you want assistance, you know, we can get you for a $10 copay, you know, just call the manufacturer. Well, with Medicare, there's none of that. So when people come across these huge dollar medications, there can be some assistance through the federal government called Extra Help. And this is for people who are low income. So if you're an individual who's making somewhere between $1,500 to $1,800 a month, it's a good idea to apply for it. And I help people do that. And so what that'll do, that'll reduce their cost of their medicines from $0 up to $8 maximum. So it's really huge. Yeah, because I have clients right now, one in particular, his medication is $16,000 every quarter.
What?
$16,000 every quarter, okay? And even though that drug is covered under Medicare, you have some hefty out-of-pocket costs, because you're normally going to be paying 25% of that $16,000 every quarter for that particular individual. So, you know, you want to try to seek out as much as you can. Do I qualify for the federal government? And the way you do that is go on to Social Security's website under Extra Help. It takes about maybe 10 minutes to complete that application. And I also recommend people too, you want the application to go to the state of Arizona as well, because you may qualify for some other assistance if your income is such, you know, is low, where the state will pay for your Part B premium. The one I was talking about, that's $144.60 for most of us. So we'll go ahead and apply for that. You never know what you can get until you apply, right? And so that's what I help people do.
And you'll see on the screen her contact information to connect with Kaylavon so she can help is www.metasolutions.us. So you guys definitely connect with her, or even if it's not for you yet, even if you're not 65, you may have family members who might need this information and might need her assistance in getting the support that they need. What is one misconception I think, Kayla, people might have about Medicare, and why are you so passionate about what you're doing?
The one misconception that most people have is they don't think Medicare costs nothing. They think it's very little or no out-of-pocket costs. That is not true. It can be very expensive if you just retired and you're on a fixed income. So, and then sometimes they think too, just because their friend has a certain plan, then that's the plan for them. That's not true, because Medicare is customized to you, how you see the doctors, what doctors you do see, how do you go about, seeing a particular illness that you have. Is that doctor that you want to see? Now, one thing I didn't kind of share earlier with Medicare, there's two forms of Medicare. There is the federal government one, which I recently talked about, and then there is the non-governmental Medicare program, and it's called Medicare Advantage programs, or also known as Medicare Part C. Now, these are the ones that you see advertised on TV like no other. You see Joe Namath on there talking about you can get no cost to go see your doctor. You can get, transportation to see your doctor. You can get meals delivered to your home and all of these things, that you can get. So those plans are very unique. They mimic more like employer benefits. So like HMOs and PPOs, but they have a network. And you are confined in your county, meaning that you cannot go out of your county to get services unless it is a emergency service or an urgent care. So they have a lot of rules with that particular program, and they're ran by private insurance companies under the umbrella of the government overseeing them.
Wow. So, I mean, this is so great because I think you're right. We see something on television and we think it automatically applies to us, right? Because someone famous is obviously endorsing it. And so it's so important to connect with someone like you who really specializes and is passionate about helping people really understand what their access and rights to. Why is that so important for you? Why is that a passion?
Passion because I love to help people. And let me tell you this little story. I retired back in 2013. And in retirement, I did some travel. I was doing a travel business for a little bit. And one of my old managers where I worked at Blue Cross had called me and was saying, "Hey, Kaylavon, you still have your license?" I said, "Yeah, girl, I still got my license." She was, "I'm starting an agency and I want you to be a part of it. It's Medicare and da 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 da." So I said, "Well, girl, I'll help you out, but don't count me in for the long haul." Well, anyway, long story short, I fell in love. I have been in the healthcare industry over 40 years, either from a provider side and from an insurance side. And so I thought I was really done with healthcare. But when I saw the need that people really need to understand Medicare, because I too am a senior, and my core focus is really working with people in the employer arena, because it's almost like kindergarten, if you will. You want to catch them while they're still young with it before they can make any mistakes, right? And so that's what I do. I gravitate to those employer groups, and I'm an extension to that HR department, because they don't have times to know all about the Medicare's ins and outs, because believe me, there's a lot of. And so I'm there to assist them to make that call for them. So they just let me know, "Hey, Kaylavon, I got somebody that's 65, or got somebody who's retiring. I'm passing out your information. Can you please help them?" So I get tons of referrals that way. And so I love that, because I'm saving someone from getting into a financial mishap because they did not know the rules, or they went online and they didn't know what they were picking, and they chose something like a drug plan that was not beneficial for them, and they've got in trouble because now they've got huge out-of-pocket costs.
Ah, yeah, and that does happen, right? And so that is why I love that you're so passionate around really giving people the information that they need so that they can be successful. So I am excited that you shared today and you showed up to give us all more valuable information, more insight into the world of Medicare and what that means for us and how it applies to us. So I always love to ask my guests, before they leave, what's one piece of advice that has helped you that you can share with our audience today?
One thing that I love, and it always comes up, and it's not only just for work, but it's for life, is the gift of surrender. I learned a valuable lesson many years ago, and I was struggling, with work. I was a single parent at that time. And, like sometimes the weight of the world just sits on your shoulder. And I remember a time I was crying. I was in the tub. I was crying my eyes out. Lord, what should I do? I'm just so full of this. I don't know what to do next. The Spirit of the Lord, honest to God, spoke to me. The more you struggle, the faster you sink. And he says, it's like quicksand. If you move around too much, you're going to go under. You have to embrace the situation and move forward. And that's what I tell the people today. Don't just surrender the situation and let it happen. And he teaches me that all the time. Even since I've been here, married, I had a situation where I was rubbing my eye and my eyelid went behind my eye and I was panicking. And again, surrender, relax, go in the flow. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And my eye went right back in like nothing, just like nothing ever happened. But the more I struggled, the more frantic I got, and I couldn't see, I couldn't breathe, but once I stopped and surrendered it, everything opened up.
Wow, that is an amazing piece of advice. I think one of the best things I've heard, especially right now during this pandemic.
Yes.
So many people are struggling against the grain,
Yes.
full of anxiety,
Yes.
full of worry. And I think that is such an amazing thing to share right now, the gift of surrender, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because we know everything that is happening to us is happening for us.
Yes. Yes.
It's happening to grow us in some amazing way, to show up bigger and better like you've done today, and to serve more like you shared today. So I really want to thank you, Kaylavon, for coming on and being my special guest and sharing your brilliance and allowing me to shine the spotlight on you. So I want to just say to you, continue doing great things. I'm so honored to have you here and to have you sharing your brilliance with the world. So thank you so much. And you guys, check Kaylavon out. Look across the screen. You'll see her contact information. Please, how can they get in contact with you, Kaylavon?
Well, you can reach me at area code 623-806-4200. You can text me, you can email me. You can even go on my website and go under the contact area, and that will come directly to me as a message. I will get back with you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for listening to the Sisterhood Spotlight today. Please follow us on all of our social media platforms at Sisterhood Extravaganza and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much as we continue to shine the light on some amazing women. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Miss Pat. I appreciate it.
Thank you.